Hi, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle, and I have an opportunity today to work on a Cardinal 157. It's Abu Sweden's rear drag reel that has a larger capacity to it. It holds 270 yards of 12-pound monofilament. We have a problem with this reel. There's no oscillation. And so I had the chance to kind of do a pre-video that looked at what the problem was, and the problem is that it has a connective between the crosswind arm and the axle shaft that's broken. And so I had to go out and order a new one, and I was fortunate enough to find a new one out there on eBay, of all things. I know folks ask me all the time, where can they find pieces and parts? Well, in this case, I was fortunate enough to find the replacement on eBay. And you have to do that with some of the older reels. You're not going to find the support there for the newer ones. So this is what it should look like. And I have the screw in my tray here. I didn't lose that. So let's take this reel apart. Let's show you how to fix the particular issue, and let's show you how the reel is made, and do some oil and greasing up on it as well. So we can start by taking out the external pieces. As I do that, I want to thank our first responders and essential personnel, all of our local hometown heroes that are keeping us safe in this pandemic. I really do appreciate everything you do. All our uniformed services, all the medical folks, all of the essential workers like traffic and transit and food delivery and the like, Amazon workers, UPS and FedEx, and everybody who brings stuff to shut-ins and the like. Thank you. Really is appreciated. Well, I'm taking the 3 case screws out. I'm putting them into a parts tray. And when I put them into the parts tray, I'm also checking to make sure that all 3 of these side plate screws are the same. I don't want to lose a position if I find out that one or the other is different. And in this case, all of those are the same. And you'll notice my parts tray is nothing fancy. It's just the bottom of a jug. And it serves me well until it gets to the point where it's either too scraped up or too gummed up, and I just simply find another jug. All right, 3 screws should take the side plate off. And here was the issue that we had. We have a beautiful reel inside here. I've taken the opportunity to clean this one up, so we don't need to do too much with that. We will grease this, and we will show you a little bit more about how this reel is made. You have a beautiful brass gear. You have a spiral gear, bushing, and this is your anti-reverse on and off feature. So right now I'm not sure what it is, it's off, and you can see how this clip moves in to intersect with the gear itself, just like that, and that will stop the anti-reverse. Well, the problem that we have, of course, is that this is not attached, and that being unattached will not allow the arm on this to drive the spool up and down. So that's accomplished with this little transition piece here, and together we're going to figure that one out. You'll see on this that we have where the axle shaft should go. I guess actually pulling it out is probably the best way to show this. There's a indentation where it's going to slip in, and we're going to do this a little bit later because it's going to press in, and then I'm going to have to take it out to put it back in. But there's a groove in the center of this. This will press on, and then we will be able to screw on to the other side the piece. All right, well, I've cleaned this up, and you're missing kind of that, but I did want to show you the technology behind this reel. Now I'm just simply going to re-grease, as we'll call this a general service in addition to how to fix the oscillation gear problem. And I'm always asked, what should the service on a reel be? Well, the service should be a cleanup and a re-lubrication and oiling at the least. And the reel should have a thorough cleaning at least once a year. Let's see if we can take this off while we're at it. We'll show you what's up top here. I don't want to lose those pieces. So try and be a little bit good about this. But sometimes I get lucky. I'm not lucky. And now not only am I going to prove I'm not lucky, but we're going to go through every deep ratchet I have to get the right one. There we go. So I keep a lot of tools right at hand. That way it enables me to do something like this without losing focus on the reel itself. I'm going to turn this reel. We've just broken the nut, I think. There we go. And then I like to turn the rest of it by hand. And we'll come underneath. Now we saw everything else is underneath here, including the anti-reverse. So we can remove the rotor. And there's a bearing in here, so I did want to oil that bearing. I'm going to use a fishing reel oil. Just need to get it off. I got too many things going on my hands at the moment, but again, this has all been cleaned, so it's more for illustration than anything. So we just let the oil sit. If you wanted to remove that bearing, you can come in with a snap ring pliers. There's a little hole on each side here. Let's see if we can do that for you. Well, I'm clogged with the oil. All right, well, just give it a spin, let that work in. I'm going to shut that anti-reverse off. I don't need it on at the moment. It's spinning nicely. All right, let's just go back and show you how to fix that anti-reverse issue, which is what this is all about. You want to take your axle shaft. Oh, I'm going to put the rotor back on. I showed you that. So if you like to see how reels come apart, how they're serviced, and how they go back together again, then please subscribe to my channel. You'll notice things like there's a groove in this pinion gear here. It might be hard to see, but there's a groove here. And up top here, there's a little pin that you need to align in order to get that on. Just like that. Just going to go ahead and put this back on while we're at it. There's a tie-down washer to stop it from vibrating. And then this is a traditional right-hand turning, tightening nut. Now I use the ratchet wrench here. You could use a flat or an open-ended wrench here if you like, because the lip of this is not too deep. But if you have a deep cone in your or cup, then go ahead and use a ratchet wrench. Spins beautifully. Okay, let's go ahead and show you how this works then. We're going to just take a little bit of grease. Grease up the shaft. That goes in next. Slides in. And then I just got to check for a moment here about which way. So we're going to go into the front of this. And we're going to snap that on now. Just like that. And then when we go to install the gear, we want to make sure that this is properly lubricated as well. So we're going to take some grease and get that onto the back end of the shaft. That goes into a bushing. There's no bearing in there. We want to make sure we get a nice dose of grease onto the main gear. It's a beautiful main gear. And these reels are very dependable reels. They've been around and they're desirable. There's a lot of folks that are still fishing these today. Part support is a little bit tougher. You can find some part support out there, but not necessarily all part support. All right, that's going to go into the side here. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put that handle back on to hold that main gear in place where I go to work on this one. So we're going to just put it in a clockwise manner. Sometimes when I try to do this for the camera, it gets a little tough, so if you just bear with me. While I'm doing this, if you have any questions on this reel or any reel in particular, and maybe you're stuck on a reel, maybe you want to know more about a reel, but whatever the case may be, if you want to contact me, leave me a note in my comment section, and I'll be happy to try and answer that question for you. I try to help out as many folks as I can that may get stuck along the way. And if you're stuck, I'll see if I can't help you. Sometimes the questions are general questions. When should I service my reel? What kind of reel grease should I use? Where can I get parts? Well, if I know the answers to those, I'll try to get you those answers as well. And try to keep the forum going in terms of giving reels second chances. That's kind of what this is all about, in terms of sharing with you what I know about reel repair and helping to keep the reels fishing. All right, that should do it. We're tightened down there. Let's give it a turn, see if we have oscillation. So we're bottoming out here. So bottoming out generally means that this is in the wrong hole. There were two holes there. And what I would think is that we've got a multiple use block there. So we may have, this is the 157. On the 154, it may use that other block. And if the block wasn't broken on this one, we would have been able to take a picture during disassembly and know which hole it would go into. But because that block was broken and floating around inside, we were unable to do that. One of the things I recommend as we work on fishing reels is to always take a picture. So you'll see that there's two holes in here. We're going to go ahead now and go for that second hole. And that should stop the bottoming out. So it's just a matter of some patience here. Go ahead and do this one now. And like I was saying, there's a couple of different models of these, and it wouldn't surprise me if the other one uses the outside hole. Not a big deal. Always worth checking. Don't just assume that this thing is going to work. You know, put the side plate cover on, do all of that stuff, and then find out that, well, you're stuck. So let's go ahead and put that back in. We'll give it a try again. Let's see how we do this time. There you go. So that was the answer there. You had a pair of holes, and we picked the wrong one, and isn't that Murphy's Law, right? Let's tighten that down a little bit more. There we go. Beautiful operation. Well, this reel has seen some fishing. It's dirty, so let's clean that spool up. The rest of the reel is in pretty good shape. I'm going to use pen rod and reel cleaner to see if we can't just kind of take some of the scaling and other things that might be on there. I use the rod and reel cleaner. I use a little corner of a kitchen scrubby, and I just kind of work that around. This rod and reel cleaner is kind of a degreaser as well as a polish. It doesn't do everything. It's not going to restore something that's got UV damage on it. And a lot of these graphite spools and reels like that do have that. But it's certainly going to clean it up. And we'll just take our time. There's no sense, if you're doing all of this maintenance on a reel, there's no sense not to just take another couple of minutes and clean the reel and do the other pieces to it. I'm going to use that same pad, which has got plenty of that on there now, just to get through the case. And we can put that spool back on, grab the side plate, I like when those side plates just snap. That tells you you have it on right. And we'll get this one done. So this one belongs to Michael. Michael sent the reels in for service. And if you have a reel that needs some service, and if you're not up for doing it yourself, and by all means I encourage you to DIY, do it yourself. That's why I post all of the videos. Yeah, I always get these questions. Aren't you afraid people are going to do the reels by themselves and you're going to lose business? Well, no. Not afraid at all. I can't service every reel in the world. I have no desire to do that. And if I can teach somebody to do it themselves, well, all the power to them. It'll keep those reels fishing. But at any rate, if you have a reel and you're not up for doing it yourself, and you would like me to service it for you, if you contact me on the email on the business card that follows, I'll be happy to provide you with that real repair information. All right, just tie this down here. Check a couple of the basic functions. I want to get that little bit of dust in there. Give that a ride. Now, when we did this, we left that anti-reverse off, if you recall. So let's put that anti-reverse back on. Have that anti-reverse. I want to take the reel oil. I want to oil the seams of the bail. Now, you don't need to remove that bail during a normal service unless it's not working. And there's no reason to get behind there. It's only springs. And springs don't benefit one way or another from opening them up. Here we go. A nice functioning reel. Bail works, and the best thing of all, we have oscillation. So that's it. That's what the Cardinal 157 looks like. It's a nice rear drag fishing reel. Let's make sure that those drags hold. Yep, they're holding fine. I like to back them off after I test them. I don't like to leave drags engaged. We've cleaned it up. We've serviced it. This one's ready to go fishing again. Ready to go back to Michael. So I hope you've enjoyed that. If you did, please like it. If you want to see more, again, please subscribe. If you do subscribe, hit the notifications button. That way you'll see which ones I post. I post on all kinds of things, so it may be that the reel I'm working on is not one that interests you. That's fine. And if you want to see one, well, the notification button is going to tell you when it shows up. So please, everybody, stay safe, stay well, stay watching. If you know a first responder or essential personnel, thank them for all it is that we do. And have a great day.